Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for My Adventures with Superman Season 2 on Toonami, Adult Swim, all that kind of stuff. And I actually really enjoyed this season. My only real kind of complaint is that we got this whole kind of setup with Waller and everything kind of earthbound with Superman that got taken pretty much over by Brainiac and Kara as we got into the second half. So, we pretty much continue on our trend of what we had seen in the previous season. Clark trying to understand his origins, understand his group dynamic with Lois and Jimmy. A really kind of funny bit is Jimmy having had his pretty much social media account acquired by the Daily Planet, and seeing him pretty much spend all of his money on certain weird kind of stuff before it comes to like being against the wall and having to actually utilize it to pretty much save Clark. So we pretty much see them kind of going through. We see Clark and Lois's relationship kind of evolve and have their kind of troubles as everything's kind of going on, as the world kind of gets more acclimated to Clark acting as Superman and doing everything that he usually kind of does. So it kind of goes mostly Monster of the Week kind of thing, at least in the beginning, getting us Monster of the Week kind of episodes as the big plot kind of starts continuing, as Waller keeps trying to push and go for more of this Earth supremacy kind of thing going on. And a really kind of cool thing was how we got the Alex dude accidentally mentored by Jimmy, being like, oh, you kind of have to believe in yourself and make your own kind of opportunities and stuff. And then we see that Jimmy pretty much has Lex Luthor pretty much brought up and put into Waller's kind of circle, with him dealing with the Metallos. We get introduced to Steel and Silas Stone in this season, which is really kind of cool to see. Their kind of take on Steel is a little bit more boxy than I would like. But if we're going along the Iron Man kind of improvement kind of tech, this is like his first kind of suit, so of course it's going to be kind of bulkier and everything, and is utilized more as a CGI kind of thing. But I liked it. I liked the voice actor that we got for him, and how he was kind of brought up and integrated into the story, how him and Superman teamed up, both in his introduction and towards the end, as everything started going completely and utterly fuck wild, as everything tends to do. Let's see here. We also get that Clark is able to see pretty much his ship, which then, of course, leads him on to Clark learning about his cousin Kara. I love him talking to Jor-El's hologram, being like, yeah, I can speak English now. You fucking freaked out like 10 fucking years ago, and I've been waiting for you since, pretty much, to kind of like get this whole shit kind of like straightened out. Kind of giving him a little bit more information, giving him more of his like Fortress of Solitude kind of thing, and telling him to find this kind of key to get to Kara. Let's see here. We also got kind of a conspiracy thing that like Task Force X was like experimenting with Kryptonian technology and everything, which is like, oh yeah, Earth supremacy while fucking with this technology. Okay. And it was interesting because Silas and John Henry Irons were pretty much linked up with the Metallobots, but they were of course unstable and everything, but this leads them to having LexCorp kind of take it over and pretty much utilize them for Task Force X. We also got kind of more of a look into Lois Lane's relationship with her father, as the father was like hiding out with Clark and Jimmy at one point, which was just kind of funny as hell. And we see that he pretty much was always trying to get her set up and make her prepared for the world, but that just kind of took away and really strained their relationship. She just really wanted him, but they're moving around all the time because of his work with the military. And she can't really set herself up that way to have friends and to have that kind of support system. And he's always pretty much gone, and seen them kind of butt heads like that. That was a pretty effective kind of flashback as we saw that, and then got to the present as they're trying to pretty much deal with what's going on. We also get that Lois is feeling insecure with her relationship with Clark, as he's pretty much voted this most eligible kind of bachelor kind of dude, and having to deal with that. And of course, Clark has sent off a message for Kara at this point, and then it comes to a head where she breaks up with Clark, but then Kara pops up. She had this kind of really perfect day with Jimmy, who she thinks is like the leader of Earth, because Jimmy didn't really set that up very well. He just kind of rolled with it as like, Jimmy, what you doing, man? But it was kind of cool, him showing her the ropes and everything before she kind of figures out what's going on with Clark. But seeing how he's kind of acting kind of pisses her off, and she decides to pretty much just capture his ass and take him up to space. And the thing is, we start seeing that Lex and everything is whipping up anti-alien sentiment against Superman, and pretty much doing everything with Waller. And that, I think that kind of stuff needed to be put more into the forefront. I really think that we should have dealt with that on its own instead of dovetailing it into what goes on with Brainiac and Kara. I mean, they work thematically to be within the same kind of ballpark and balancing each other out. It's just, I think that this kind of story needed more room to breathe, and instead took a backseat as we get all the stuff with the Kryptonians going on. As we see that Kara pretty much takes him out, shows him that he doesn't need to breathe in space. She's trying to show him all the stuff that's in this new Kryptonian empire, but all these planets are gone, and she's like, what the fuck's kind of going on here? But we see that Clark is having new kind of abilities as well, this kind of energy shielding kind of effect, with this kind of thing that he can do bubble around him. And we see that Brainiac is the one behind it all. And they got a really interesting voice actor for him. It definitely kind of plays a little bit differently. He's more kind of angular. We see all of his different kind of robo-minions that he's got. And we learned that he's pretty much been using Kara and taking control of her body and making her do all these kind of things. And he wants to take control of Clark's, because fuck it, he was made as like a war AI, and the Kryptonians were trying to do peace talks, specifically Jor-El, Superman's father, and he wasn't going to take that, so he pretty much wiped out the Kryptonians for that kind of thing, and is trying to create his own kind of empire thing based on that. It's like, holy shit. And seeing them utilize these different kind of technologies, locking Clark into this kind of mental prison as he's able to take over Superman's body. We then go back a little bit and see that Jimmy and Lois decide to hire Livewire and her cadre of people to break into Star Labs and steal a spaceship. And that's, of course, where Jimmy pretty much zeroes out all the money that he got from the Daily Planet. And it is funny that Perry's getting on his ass to be like, we bought this thing, do your social media shit, as he's doing all this other kind of shit as well. But they're able to break in. That was that was an interesting one, seeing Livewire and understanding her kind of how she kind of planned this whole kind of heist and what was kind of going on. As we also get who was it? The gorilla. Mola and Brain. And of course they've got the kryptonite and everything to pretty much take on Kara and all that. But we get this kind of weird spacing of what goes on in these last couple episodes, where we do all this stuff with Superman and Kara's trying to figure everything out, and that's when the spaceship comes in. And then we get to the next episode, we see how the spaceship was going on with that. Lois is like, fuck this shit, fuck her. But Jimmy has, of course, the other perspective that is like, well, hold on, let's kind of see what's kind of going on here. And of course, Kara's like, I need help. I need to take down Brainiac. And they pretty much get their plan to infiltrate. And the thing is, Clark is still in the mind prison. And Lois is like, fuck this shit. And decides to go in as well. And she's able to do her relationship with Clark and able to get him back into his headspace and everything. It was an interesting kind of one, seeing his parents, his mother and father are pretty much the program trying to keep him in this kind of locked thing, and seeing Brainiac take over Superman's body was really kind of freaky. It's like, oh oh shit, that changed the aesthetic and everything. It's like, oh my god, this is fucking freaky. Before we pretty much get Kandar, which isn't a bottle city in this one. It's more of like Brainiac's platform as he's pretty much going to Earth and be like, yeah, join my empire or I annihilate your asses. And Waller's like, well, fuck your shit up. It's like, wrong question, wrong answer there. And then, Badoosh, and pretty much has like, is able to take control of all the Metallas. And it's funny, Waller's like, Luther, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm attempting to do something, and an alien intelligence has taken over this shit. What do you want me to do? It's like, yeah, pretty much. But of course, Lois is able to pretty much get Brainiac out. They're able to leave, and it's pretty cool to kind of see that happen. Let's see. And seeing him get back to his normal self, him and Kara teaming up, and then also teaming up with Livewire and the rest of the heroes. Well, heroes. Livewire and the rest of the kind of supporting cast that we've got. We don't have any other kind of DC heroes at this point. We'll have to see how they get integrated in. This is a really kind of weird one. That's also a kind of quibble. I don't know if they're going to be adding in, like, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Green Arrow, I mean, Steel is definitely connected with Superman, so there's, like, no problems there. But yeah, at this point, we had very much of a kind of... since they kept it a kind of a smaller cast, I kind of wish that they had just had a refiguring of it, of just Superman, Kara, maybe Steel on the ground, helping out the regular citizens of Metropolis to do what they needed to do. I don't mind having the kind of rogues that we had already seen doing what they needed to do to kind of like show themselves more in a positive light and be more kind of redeemed. It just kind of limits and you're like kind of like, okay, Superman needs help. Who the fuck's gonna be here? So we'll have to see if they integrate any kind of more superheroes or whatnot into the next couple of seasons, or season, because they have been greenlit for season 3, which, thank you. And it was interesting to see, well, it was cool to see Kara and Superman kind of have their emotional kind of moments. Brainiac pretty much taking over Kara again, but Superman going to hugging her and trying to get her back out of there, and Lois and Jimmy helping out as well as they're able to get back into it and take down Brainiac, and pretty much, even though the kryptonite's kind of going on and hurting them, as they pretty much take him to the sun and pretty much slam his ass into there. Kara getting a scar from a kryptonite rock sword that Brainiac was able to do, and they keep Brainiac's mainframe as well, so that leaves him open for coming back. But it was really adorable to see Mom and Pa Kent just accept her and have Clark and Kara go out and pretty much just play catch, as she'd been asleep for a couple days. And I just kind of liked it ending it like that. And seeing Lois's father pretty much helping out with Waller, maybe potentially tempering her, so we'll have to see what kind of goes on with that. Oh yeah, Waller's a fugitive now, so we'll have to see that. We had also seen that Vicky Vale had offered Lois a job in Gotham, and Clark's like, yeah, I'll go with you. I'll like fly between cities and stuff like that. She's like, no, I don't want to be the next Vicky Vale. I want to be the first Lois Lane. I'm like, there you go. I like that. And that works very well. Seeing our group being expanded by one, it'll be kind of cool to see how Kara deals with life on Earth. And I did like her suit changing to Superman's suit as well, as they pretty much absorbed the solar radiation and blasted out of the sun. I really liked that. That was a really kind of a cool and effective scene to see them both superpowered like that, even though they were pretty much affected by the kryptonite and what it was kind of doing. And that was also a cool kind of thing as well, because we saw that the Kryptonian technology that Livewire and Dracadre were using were affected by the kryptonite as well, as the stuff was like growing in on them and everything like that. So I hope they kind of keep that going and don't just like drop that out of nowhere. Not that they have or anything, but sometimes that happens where you've established this thing and people don't give the showrunners or the animators enough time, and something like, you never know with continuity and all that. I'm like, I love the building of that scene, that workout on the Kryptonian technology front. Let's see, any kind of other big things. I just think that they did a phenomenal job. They did a really good job. Just the balancing issues of the two stories, pretty much. I kind of think that they both needed a little bit of room, but the Brainiac and Kara stuff took over at the back half, and then everything else kind of got wiped away a little bit. The action scenes were really well done. Voice acting was on point. I still like the plotting and world building of what's going on. It's just really also kind of strange that we don't have any other kind of superheroes at this point. Now, granted, it's a Superman show. I'm not saying that there needs to be other kind of superheroes just out there to like take over Superman's show. It's just strange when you need a kind of team up thing to happen and you're kind of limited to who you've got. And if you've only got certain kind of ones that are connected with Superman, that's fine. Just make sure you work it within it itself to have that work out well enough for it. It just didn't feel like it worked quite as well as I would have liked here, though I don't think it was very bad at all. So, those are my opinions on this season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.